OS LLC for strategic management. Good to see you guys back on the weekend with me doing strategic management. And all of those who have joined, just excuse my sore throat. You would probably know by my voice that it's bad. The weather's changing, the air pollution is there. It's just caught me real bad. So just excuse my voice for the next 2, 3 classes. I should be fine by then. Cool.
Recording in progress.
We have Shivam, Kiran, Mr. Sahu, Parth, Preetham. I am not that good, Parth, as on date. You would see I will cough a lot, so excuse that as well. I would really just request and say sorry ahead because I might cough a lot and my sound or my voice might not be as energetic as it used to be in the last class. So just bear with me on that. Cool. We have a lot of people. We have Kadambari, Martin, Tanisha, Namika, Niveda, Tiksha, Deepshre, hey. We have Jyoti, Nikita, K, Rachna, Hemlata, Ajay, Divya. Divya seems excited. She's been using too many emojis. So Divya, send me some energy. Sankaran is there. Sankaran, SRO. Sankaran, you always say it's SRO, and I'm not very sure. A lot of people I know from SRO are rank holders. So let's see what happens with you. Good. Deepshit, today is your first live class of SM. All previous session you have, and now you're taking the live with me. Good to see that. I hope you'll have fun today. We are almost at the last chapter, and this chapter is not a small chapter. Let me tell you, this chapter is not for the faint-hearted. It's a very long chapter. It's a 70-page chapter. And what I saw as a feedback from a lot of you was one point that you guys said PPTs are good, but you're really not able to go back and study the study material. A lot of you had sent some messages which said that you really need to understand how do we study a study material as well, because the questions are going to come from the study material. So what I've done today is, even though I have the PPT, I will upload the PPT. Okay. Listen to this carefully. I will upload the PPT. I have it ready, but we will study chapter number 5 from the study material, what you see on the screen. This is the study material. All right. So this is the latest new edition study material, which I've just downloaded from the Board of Studies portal. We will study this entire chapter from the study material so that you also get to know how to go and read this, where do questions come from, what to underline, what not to underline, what can be skipped, what needs to be prepared with double attention or concentration. We will do all of that with chapter 5. Cool. Makes sense. Thumbs up. Okay. If that makes sense. If you want to do PPT, we'll do PPT as well. But my suggestion is we do at least one major chapter from the study material so that it all gives us a confidence कि ये भी कैसे पढ़नी है. Right? This is again where the questions are going to come from. All right, Niveda, you cleared group 1. Super. Should I convert voluntarily or wait for the automatic conversion? You should do voluntarily. If you have an option, why wait for somebody to tell you to do automatic conversion? If you have uh, like probably preparation done, you're confident, do a voluntary conversion. Awesome. Okay. Absolutely, Sankaran. I wish all of you, like, the at least 50 people from here become 50 rank holders. So great. Divya is also under fever. A lot of people would be under fever right now. This will help you study material. Super. Let's do that then. I think if the Janta is ready with the study material thing, let's do that today so that we know how to read this as well. Cool. So chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. We talked about strategies. We talked about strategic management. We talked about companies. We talked about strategic leaders. We talked about people We talked about what kind of options they have, what do they do when there are a lot of companies, when there are a lot of brands, what is competitor landscape, how do you group your competitors, how do you figure out your stakeholders, Mendelow's matrix, लोगों को कैसे मैनेज करते हैं, बिजनेस को कैसे मैनेज करते हैं, बिजनेस के अंदर इंट्रिकेसीज क्या होती हैं, व्हाट इज द डेमोग्राफिक, यू अंडरस्टैंड योर core market, you understand your own company, you do a SWOT analysis, you do a pestle analysis, you go and figure out what the competition is, what's the pricing, how do you price that product, how do you market that product, different modes of marketing we talked about, right? We studied a lot of things. We have studied really, really like a mini MBA of sorts that we have handy right now. This chapter essentially is the last chapter and it summarizes everything for you. Chapter number 5 summarizes everything that we have studied as of now, and it tells us, boss, this is the time where you put your ideas to action. How do you implement and evaluate your strategies, right? I know I have to get good marks. This is how I will get good marks. I will study more. I will study from this book. I will go and study on Saturday morning, 7 a.m. with this guy looking at his laptop and teaching me, right? So you have this strategy in place. But unless you execute it, unless you implement it, unless you go and actually put things to action, you figure out that, boss, shit, I don't even have time, right? मैंने सपने तो देख लिए ऐसा करूंगा या ऐसा करूंगी, but reality may I don't have the resources. I might not have the time. I might not have this particular book, or this particular book might be really costly and I don't want to spend so much money on a book. Used to happen with me, right? Someone would tell me कि भाई ये book खरीद लो, बड़े अच्छे questions होते हैं इसमें, and I said like ठीक है, let me go and buy this book. I used to go and they would say this question bank is for 5,500 rupees. Like, but are you crazy? 5,500 rupees for a book, and people say, अरे नहीं इससे पास हो जाओगे. Like, pass, ठीक है, depends on your appetite, depends on your resources. I wouldn't want to buy that, right? I wouldn't want to buy. Now the point is, what the point I'm trying to put is, you might have the strategy, you might know what is to be done, but you might still not be able to do it with multiple reasons. External factor changes, नहीं कर पाते हो, time नहीं है, समय नहीं है, पैसे नहीं है, मन नहीं है, health नहीं है, right? So now that is what, this is where this chapter takes you through. The journey of this chapter is, you have everything handy, but you will still not be able to do it. You know why? And that's what this chapter is. Okay. Strategy, implementation, and evaluation. This chapter will take you through these very interesting topics, which is interrelation between strategy formulation and implementation. Your formulation, जो आपको idea है, जो आपका मन है, versus your real execution. How are these two different? And they are very different, okay? The process is different, the resources are different. So everything is different here. Sorry. The second is strategic change through digital transformation. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आ रहा है, ईआरपी सिस्टम्स आ रहे हैं, एना प्लानिंग सिस्टम्स, एफपीएनए रोल्स, बिजनेस फाइनेंस रोल्स, कंट्रोलरशिप, A2R ऑडिट, इंटरनल ऑडिट, फोरेंसिक्स ऑडिट. व्हाट इज दिस? Everything is getting digital. UPI transactions, the government everything government is digital, everything private is digital. You go to hospitals, everything is digital. You go to metro, everything is digital. Your smartwatch, your phone, everything is digital, and everywhere the financial transactions are happening, everywhere the business strategy is happening. A business which is not digital today might lose the business very, very quickly, right? If Dal Chand Mohan Chand bakery, which is like 150-year-old bakery, sits in a small spot, let's say in Jaipur, right? It might still be fantastic. It might still be doing good business. But other businesses which are more digital, which are more social media savvy, which are more digital in terms of the way they operate, the way they design their products, right? अगर वो digital transformation में नहीं जाएंगे, this might create a problem. I'll give you an example. There was a shop, I don't know, like I don't remember the name. I was reading this somewhere. That particular shop is a 150, 200-year old legacy small shop. They sell some very specific desserts, okay? The owners said we do not want UPI transaction. हमें नहीं चाहिए, हमें cash चाहिए. We just work on cash transactions. Now that business in the next 2 years saw a decline of almost 80%. 80% of the customers stopped going to them because all of them were using UPI transactions. The students, the new generation, even though they became very famous on social media, some reel got viral and a lot of people started going to that place, but they said, नहीं नहीं हमें UPI नहीं हमें cash दो. People do not carry cash in today's time. A lot of people in the metro cities, a lot of people in the tier 3, tier 1, tier 2 cities, they are not carrying cash, right? Everyone's like 20 rupees are also Paytm or Google Pay or Phone Pay or Razor Pay, whatever it is, right? People are just scanning and paying, scanning and paying. And that shop says मेरे को नहीं करना. So they say ठीक है मत करो. And the business goes down by 80%. So strategic change through digital transformation, they got to bring some change, right? We'll study this, how that happens, why that happens, and what are the benefits of it. The very basics of it. Organizational structure, hard and soft. Okay. So structure क्या है और culture क्या है? The structure might be the boss sits, has two favorites, has 10 favorites, has 20 favorites, have 100 people working under them. That's a structure. That's a hard structure. Okay. The soft part of the organization is the culture. Like, even if the boss likes two people, these 10 people are not neglected. He likes them also. He likes the next 50 also. He likes the next 100 also. Or she likes the next 100 or 50, or whoever the boss is. Okay. So culture means soft, and the core structure, how the organization is structured, is called hard. Okay. So एक के नीचे दो के नीचे चार, that's the structure, and how they behave amongst themselves, that's called culture. And this really impacts strategy implementation. Absolutely, it will, right? If you're not treating people right and you tell them नहीं नहीं आज से strategy change अब ये करो, वो कहेंगे नहीं करेंगे भाई. We are not passionate about you because you don't care about us, right? If you're running a boutique, if you're running a big business, a big cosmetics business, you're running a small shop, whatever it is, right? If your people are not happy and you try to re-strategize your business or bring in something new into your business, people will not accept it even if you are doing the right thing because you don't treat them right. So that's what we will talk about in strategy, implementation, and formulation and evaluation. Then we talk about strategic leadership. You guys, right? All of you who are live on the chat, watching live on YouTube or the BOS app and not being active on the chat, which is not a good thing. Okay, you should be active here. So strategic leaders, how are strategic leaders made? What differentiates a normal employee from a strategic leader or a strategic leader from a normal employee? We will study that. Very cool concept, right? इसके ऊपर तो कम से कम 10,000 बुक्स तो सिर्फ स्ट्रेटेजिक लीडरशिप पे लिखी गई हैं. But we will talk that in a very concise manner. Then we reach the chapter we talk about strategic control. सब कुछ तो कर लिया. How do you evaluate if you're going in the right way? How do you control the controllables, right? I said this will happen, this happened. I wanted this to happen, okay, this happened, but was it the right way? Was it the right way? जुगाड़ तो नहीं लग गए बीच में, right? You've reached your result or you're reaching your result, but was it the right way? The strategic control. Was the culture right? Was the structure right? Was the leadership right? Was the digital transformation successful? Control. Keep a check on of all these. And finally, this is a very fantastic new topic into the syllabus, strategic performance measures. We will talk about McKinsey's 7S model here, which talks about how do you measure your success? How do you measure your success as a business, right? And that is where the entire chapter or the entire syllabus folds into. आपने आइडिया बनाया, स्ट्रैटेजी चुनी, ऑप्शंस चुने, figured out the market, figured out the pricing. I want to do a market penetration at this price in this demographic, did the pestle analysis, this is the Mendel's analysis, I did SWOT, I did this, I've done everything, right? Now somebody comes and says, it's been 8 months that you said you will do this and you've been doing this. Where are you right now? Now, you need to know where you are right now and where you will be in the next 6, 8, 10, 12, 20, whatever the number you is, in number of months or years. Okay. Strategic performance measures. You got to measure where you are as a business, as an individual, and that is what we'll study. Very cool tool, very, very interesting method. McKinsey 7S personal life में भी use कर सकते हो. Okay. So we will get into all of this. I've just given you, so probably now you have an idea कि chapter 5 लंबा तो बहुत है. It will take at least 2.5 sessions, but this is going to be interesting where we summarize everything and then we figure out new things to learn. I can tell you very new things to learn in chapter 5. Boring, mundane chapter नहीं है, बहुत interesting है और नया है. Okay, let's go to the first topic in this, which is strategic management process. बहुत ही simple चीज है. Let me just zoom it for you guys. Okay, here we are. Now, Fred R. David करके हमारे जो गुरुदेव थे, उन्होंने बोला कि भाई स्ट्रैटेजी मैनेजमेंट मॉडल इज वेरी सिंपल. इट वर्क्स ऑन लॉजिक. इट वर्क्स ऑन लॉजिक. ठीक है, बता दो कैसे होता है. उन्होंने कहा देखो भाई, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल you go and you develop your vision, mission, and objective. He said, we know that, sir. We will do it. Very good. You've developed your vision, where you want to be, how you want to achieve that, and small immediate goals which are measurable, controllable, comparable, and challenging, time bound objectives, right? All the characteristics of objectives. So, वो बना लो आप पहले. ठीक है जी, बना लिया हमने. अब क्या करना है? जैसे नेक्स्ट आप क्या करो, आप एनालाइज करो बाहर, एक्सटर्नल, और आप एनालाइज करो अपने आप को कि what are the opportunities and threats outside, and what are your strengths and shortcomings, right, or weaknesses inside the organization. उनको आप फटाफट से ढूंढ लो. You said, अच्छा, we got to do SWOT analysis. He said, yeah, do SWOT analysis. So you develop vision, mission, objectives. Then you do a quick SWOT analysis. What are the opportunities set outside? What are you good at? What are you weak at? And just figure out what makes more sense for you. So ठीक है, I'll do that. Then what do I do? Says ये कर लिया आपने. Then you go and you generate, analyze, and select strategies. You say, अच्छा, मतलब I go and figure out whether I have to do intensification, diversification, strategic external growth, internal growth, strategic alliance करूँ, forward integration करूँ, backward integration करूँ, market penetration करूँ, क्या करूँ, right? That's what you're saying. I've seen that table, right? ICAI वाले एक आदमी ने मेरे को पढ़ाया था लैपटॉप पे. हाँ, ठीक है. So you're saying you generate, analyze, select strategies. Fred says, हाँ हाँ हाँ, वही करना है. Yes, you have to do that. ठीक है, I know this. This is easy. Then you say, हाँ, ये भी कर लिया. फिर what next? कह रहे कुछ नहीं. Start putting things to action. Implement your strategy. You see, ठीक है. So I'll get to actions. I'll figure out how to start this. I'll get some money, resources, people, idea. I'll bring everything together. I'll bring all the resources together, and I'll put this to implementation. What next? Says, कुछ नहीं. Now you evaluate and control. Evaluate and control means you say you figure out if you're doing the right thing and things are going in the right way. Okay? And says ठीक है. फिर क्या करना है? कह रहा है फिर कुछ नहीं करना है, एंजॉय करना है. कह रहा है बट अगर if I evaluate and figure out that things are not going in the right way, if things are not happening as I wanted them to be, then what? ये सब क्या, ये सब मेला आपने लगा दिया. What will happen to this? Right? कह रहा एरो नहीं देख रहे हो आप. एरो देखो कहाँ जा रही है. एरो के लिए वापस वहां चले जाना. If something is not going right, if something is not happening as you desired it to be, arrow देखो, arrow, वापस चले जाओ. You go back and you redevelop your vision. You figure out if the vision was right. You figure out if the mission was right. You figure out if your objectives that you're given to your team or taken personally, are they even right? जैसे बात तो ठीक है, बात तो ठीक है. My eyesight is weak and I did all of this to become a pilot. तो शुरू में मेरा विजन मिशन ऑब्जेक्टिव ही गलत था. My height is 5'3" and I said मुझे आर्मी ज्वाइन करनी है. I did all preparation to join the defense. होगा ही नहीं. Strategy, evaluation and control. You go back to the drawing board and start doing that. You start doing that. You re-figure out what went wrong and you correct it and you come back to this stage. You go back to that stage. You come back to this stage. You go back. तो कह रहे हो, आप कह रहे हो ये सर्कल है, तो मतलब कभी खत्म नहीं होता ये स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट. नहीं, नेवर एंडिंग. Strategic management is a continuous process. Chapter number 1, statement number 1. Strategic management is a continuous process. ये रहा. मिस्टर डेविड बोल के गए कि भैया इट इज ए कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस. सेड ओके सर, वेरी नाइस. सो ही सेड आपने एक चीज मिस कर दिया. इन द प्रोसेस देयर आर 3 पिलर्स. इट इज कॉल्ड फॉर्मुलेशन, implementation and evaluation. Till here, till chapter number 4, we were only talking about formulation. क्या, कैसे, क्यों, क्या क्या और क्या होता है और क्या होता है, राइट. फॉर्मुलेशन, यू गो टू अ शॉप और कलर दिखाओ और डिजाइन दिखाओ, बटन वाली दिखाओ, बिना बटन वाली, जिप वाली दिखाओ. फॉर्मुलेशन, यू फिगरिंग आउट व्हाट मेक्स मोर सेंस टू यू, व्हाट यू लाइक मोर, किस में आप अच्छे लगोगे, किस स्वेटर, शर्ट, जैकेट, व्हाटएवर यू बाइंग, राइट. देन यू गो एंड वेयर इट एंड यू से नहीं, मजा नहीं. You go and evaluate, it wasn't right. You look at the pictures and you say, I wasn't looking that good. You go back and you figure out what makes more sense, or which is what is more like suits your style, right? That is how you do it. That is strategic management model. अब स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट के अंदर आती हैं स्टेजेस, जो कि अभी हमने पढ़ी, राइट. All this entire jhamela mela, all the effort has 5 stages. Develop strategic vision, environmental and organizational analysis, formulation of strategy, implementation, and strategic evaluation and control. Now let's quickly understand each of these, and we have done that. Vision, mission, objectives, intent, values, we have done. Chapter 1, we have done that entire box with a circle in a circle in a circle in a circle. We start with an intent, you have values, you have mission, vision, goals, and objectives. Everything comes under values, right? Intent se shuru hota hai, but everything comes under the value system. That's what stage number 1 is. Stage number two is Stage number two is environmental and organizational analysis. ठीक है जी. environmental scanning करना जिसको बोलते हैं कि भैया SWOT analysis कीजिए. ये देखिए, स्टडी मटेरियल सब कुछ पढ़ाता है. The external environment of a firm consists of economic, social, technological, market, and other forces which affects its functioning. कितना बढ़िया लिखा है देखो. The firm's external environment is dynamic and uncertain. Fantastic line for exams. So the management must systematically be analyzed various elements of environment to determine opportunities and threats for the firm in the future. We know it. Go and do a SWOT analysis. Okay, sir, we know it. So environment scanning is basically saying कि go and look in the examination. Oh, go and look in the environment. कि क्या होता है? Is it an opportunity? Is it a threat? ट्रेंड क्या चल रहा है? कुछ स्पेसिफिक इवेंट हुआ है, वर्ल्ड कप हुआ है, ओके, लेट्स से देयर वाज एन इवेंट, वर्ल्ड कप हुआ. You were figuring out in the environment क्या opportunity, what opportunity, where should I put money, what business should I do, you know, वर्ल्ड कप आ रहा है. And then there was a world cup for the two months, लोग सिर्फ क्रिकेट देख रहे हैं. What kind of businesses do you feel, what kind of businesses do you feel made the maximum money during world cup? Santosh has a fantastic question. Santosh says, what to do for exams? Santosh, it's a simple thing. You just have to sleep. और कुछ नहीं करना है, सच्ची बता रहा हूँ। नींद पूरी होगी ना, तो आपको एकदम एग्जाम में बढ़िया मिलेगा। और इतनी ज्यादा आप सो जाओगे, यू विल स्लीप सो मच, देन यू विल स्टार्ट हैविंग एंजाइटी. Shit, I haven't studied enough. Then you study yourself. If you have time, when you have time, you will not study. When you don't have time, then you will study. तो एग्जाम्स के लिए बेस्ट है, just create a pressure situation. Prince की मत लेना advice. He says what to do in exam is go and look into others' answer sheets and then get banned for life. तो जिंदगी में सीए छोड़ दो, एसी बन जाओगे. Avantika says Chandigarh में Tibetan market is started during winter. They still accept the payment in cash form. वो एटीट्यूड अलग ही होता है तिब्बती मार्केट का. किसी भी सिटी में जाओ, द तिब्बती मार्केट्स हैव अ डिफरेंट एटीट्यूड ऑल टुगेदर. दे विल नॉट शो यू से ये टंगा हुआ है, लेना है ले लो, नहीं लेना थैंक यू. यस साद, योर क्वेश्चंस आर रीचिंग. आई वाज जस्ट स्पीकिंग अ लॉट, तो फ्लो में पढ़ा नहीं होगा. आपका क्वेश्चन है, यू गॉट अ डाउट कन्वर्जन फ्रॉम ओल्ड कोर्स टू न्यू कोर्स इज अ स्विचिंग कॉस्ट. नहीं नहीं, फ्रॉम ओल्ड कोर्स टू न्यू कोर्स इज मैंडेटरी भाई, लॉ है, ये करना ही पड़ेगा. कॉस्ट स्विचिंग कॉस्ट वगैरह कुछ नहीं, यू हैव टू डू दिस. there's no way if you want to become a CEO that so switching cost is when you feel कि अरे यार करना पड़ेगा, बहुत मेहनत लगेगी. ऑप्शन ही नहीं है ना, करना ही है. राइट, you don't have an option. You just have to go with the new syllabus at the end of the day. Cool. A lot of examples of businesses who made a lot of money: hotels, sports channel, television, TV, food, hotel, transportation, broadcasting, television, TV, Hotstar, snacks manufacturers, T-shirts for World Cup, yeah, Indian jerseys, media organizers, sponsors, da, 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 da. Can you upload the case study that we discussed? I will do that, Srinivasan. No problem. More directly from stage. Can we move directly from stage 1 to stage 6? Hold that question. Stage 5, I'll come to that. Right? Okay. Anmol, what's Tibetan market? It's Tibetan market. Or Tibetan is like Punjabi in me is saying Tibetan, but Tibetan market are so the refugees who open these markets. It's a cool market if you want to, if you have a lot of money. Indian flags and all that, jerseys, and during World Cup you can earn more income. Stadiums will earn more income. Absolutely, that's right. So that's an environmental scanning. You did for them. See, if you are a snacks manufacturer, if you are a small, let's say, I know this probably, I don't know, the friends of friends, somebody, this girl used to make small cupcakes, okay? This girl used to make small cupcakes during World Cup. She started making जिस दिन जो मैच होता था उनके दो cupcakes like this, let's say Australia versus India. So she made Indian cupcakes and she made Australia cup design and all that yellow, and this was blue and something. Crazy sales. Crazy sales. People are buying from Instagram. I don't know how, but people are still buying. People, a lot of people are buying over Instagram. Okay. I still don't know how and why would you buy food over Instagram, but people do. So I'm just saying that's environmental scanning. She figured out an opportunity. She figured out, she had an idea. She figured out that this is my strength. I can make good cupcakes. Let me do that. What's the trend in the market right now? World Cup. Combine both of them. हो गया काम खत्म आपका. Okay. The second is organizational analysis. Organizational analysis is अपने आप का. Weakness, strength, right? I am good. So she was good at cupcakes. She made cupcakes. You might be good at something else. You make that or provide that service if that's the matter, right? Some people are good at speaking. Some people are good at analysis. Some people are good at technical knowledge of a law of anything. If you're good at that, sell that because you know you're good at that. That's your organizational analysis. Okay, cool. Stage 3, formulation. Stage 3, formulation. There are 4 questions. A company may be confronted with several alternatives like these. The first one could be First one could be, should the company continue in the same business on the same volume? That's first question. Okay. If it decides to continue in the same business, should it grow by expanding the existing units or by establishing new units or by acquiring other units in the industry? Okay, I want to continue the same business. I don't want to become a conglomerate. I want to still be in the same business, or maybe something concentric. You decide that when you're formulating a strategy. Then you figure out, okay, let's say I want to grow. See, again, depends on the product life cycle, the organization life cycle. You're growing, you're stable, you're mature, or you're dying. BCG matrix, ADL matrix, ये सब यहाँ आ जाएगा. Formulation of strategy के questions, if it should it diversify in related areas or unrelated areas? Should it get out of an existing business fully or partially? All of that is what we were discussing. ADL, BCG, then this and stop gray and whatever it was, stop light, okay? उस सब कुछ में हम लोग पढ़ रहे थे, and it clearly defined, if your stage is this, if your position is this, do this. If this is your product, if this is your market, do this. If this is this and this is this, do this. बहुत ही simple से matrices थे what we studied, and that's what the formulation of strategy is as well. Number 4, implementation of strategy, dost. Implementation of strategy essentially means gather resources. Gather resources. Diwali party करनी है. You want to do a Diwali party. Let's say New Year party. Diwali chalegi. Let's talk about the future. You want to do a New Year party. You want to have fun with your friends. You have, let's say, 10, 12 friends you want to call over. कहाँ करोगे party? कैसी party होगी? Will it have cards? Will it have drinks? Will it have only music? Will it have games? Will it be just about a bonfire, people sitting around talking and having fun? Formulation of strategy. Once you decide, कि ठीक है, I just want a bonfire, I have people around sitting in a circle, talking, having fun, light music, some lights on the chat and all this. Cool. Implementation is gathering all the resources, getting the lights, getting the gaddas, getting the bonfire place, getting the wood and the oil and all that, the food stuff, arranging, inviting people, telling where to have, be cleaning your chat and all that. That's implementation. And while you implement, you figure out that, boss, listen, I was thinking मेरी पार्टी हो जाएगी 10,000-1,000 रुपए में. I was thinking 10,000 should be enough. Now the budget seems like ये तो मेरे 15-20 हजार रुपए से नीचे तो बात ही नहीं बैठेगी. When do you figure this out? You figure this out when you start implementing. Implementation का basis is budgeting. Chartered accountants, MBA finance, heavily employed in this stage of any big organization. It's called FP&A, financial planning and analysis. Okay. There are projects, there are businesses, there are strategies. And then you develop budgets to figure out that, boss, if you do this, this is the kind of money you expect to come in. Okay. And this is the kind of cost you will have for it. Does it make sense to do this business? Yes or no? Depends. But you need data for it. And that's what implementation of strategy starts with. Developing budgets for your big plans. Then you figure out that, boss, ठीक है, पैसे अरेंज हो जाएंगे, कर लेंगे किसी तरीके से, we will see and manage. Staffing the organization. Just सही culture के लोग are people who are getting employed or people who are currently in the organization. Are they equally passionate about the strategy, about the company? Are they equally, okay? Are they equally supportive of the strategy? Are they equally wanting? Are they competitive? Are they probably, let's say, intellectual enough to work with us? Yes or no is a question you have to check and answer. Okay, when you're implementing. अगर नहीं है तो change people. अगर है, good luck to you. Okay, that's what it is for a business. Finding the right people. I don't know if you guys have read this news. Sam Altman of AI, उस ओपन है उसको निकाल दिया 3 दिन बाद वापस ले. क्या ड्रामा है ये, right? So staffing issues in an organization can badly affect the organization, right? Staffing issues or problems, they could be anything with them. We don't know the picture. हमको तो वही पता है जो newspaper बता रहा है. But the point is, somehow it creates and gives an impression that maybe something is not right. We don't know. Okay. When we say maybe something is not right, that means maybe the product will be compromised. We might not be at that level for that organization, but think about this. If tomorrow, for example, a case comes up on Ratan Tata, okay, and something media does and this and that, अपने आप ही Tata products will lose value. So staffing the organization with the right set of people who are actually as ethical as you, as compliant as you, as good as you is really important. That's implementation. Okay. Ensuring that policies and operating procedures facilitate rather than impede effective execution. That means the processes are easy to understand and complete or follow. इतने मुश्किल processes ना बन जाए that execution becomes a problem. If you have to do a marketing campaign in your company, it will first go to a designer, then to and a copywriter, then to this, then to legal, then to this, then to CEO, then back to communications head, back to legal. Round two will come back to you. With all the changes, you do the changes, and you again follow this. आदमी कहेगा भाई तब तक ना विराट कोहली चला जाएगा जब तक आई विल मेक दिस मार्केटिंग कैंपेन. विराट कोहली रिटायर हो जाएगा तब तक. So you have to ensure the operating procedures of your company, of your business, facilitate people to be creative to do their job rather than stop them from execution. Okay. Using the best known practices to perform core business activities and pushing for continuous improvement. You just need not look inside your company. भाई बाहर देखो. The execution that's happening outside might give you so much more information about how to do implementation. A lot of people look at Sachin Tendulkar, a lot of people look at MS Dhoni, a lot of people look at Neeraj Chopra, a lot of people look at Shah Rukh Khan. Why? They are using the best known practices from them for their own improvement. They have focus, they used to work this time, they were always focused on the training, always on time on the trainings. This is how they treat people, this is how they lead their life. Best known practices gather karke from the environment you implement to your business. That's implementation. Installing information and operating systems, using technology, motivating people through energy, compensation, support, training, creating a company culture and work climate which is supportive to successful strategy implementation. And finally, exerting intern leadership. Everybody should feel they are empowered. Everybody in the company should feel that, boss, you are doing the job, you are the person we need, right? It shouldn't be felt like कि मैं नहीं होऊंगा तो भी चलेगा. Then people will leave very quickly. When they start feeling मैं नहीं होऊंगा तो इनका क्या काम होगा, that is when that is what the company also wants. You might feel powerful कि मैं गया तो इनका काम नहीं होगा, but company said, imagine how much work we are getting done by you, that if you leave, our work will stop. So it's like a mutual game. Okay. Let me just do the final stage here, and then I'll go to a few questions I read, which are long paragraph things, but let's do that. The final one is evaluation and control. Pretty simple, right? You just need to figure out you're doing the right thing, things are going in the right way, things are being done in the right manner, things are meeting your vision, mission, and objectives, and anything that's deviating needs to be corrected at the earliest. It simply means fine tuning the strategic plan and continuing with ongoing efforts to improve execution, right? Got it? That's what the conclusive statement of evaluation and control is. Cool. I remember there was a question that what if we directly move from stage 1 to stage 5? You can. Absolutely you can. You can build a vision and then you figure out कि भाई मेरा vision काम कर रहा है या नहीं, right? You make your vision and then you go and figure out, is my vision mission working or not? And 99.9% times you will figure out it's not working. And then you'll figure out why. Because मैंने implement ही नहीं किया, मैंने formulate ही नहीं किया. If you go from stage 1 to stage 5, that means you are saying, you're sitting today and you're saying, I will get a rank in chartered accountancy. Vision है मेरा, dream है मेरा. And अगले minute you're thinking, मेरी rank क्यों नहीं आ रही? You will be like, मतलब 1 मिनट पहले ही तो सोचा था आपने. ये नहीं नहीं, वो तो हमने सोचा था. अभी हम इवेल्युएट कर रहे हैं कि हमारी रैंक क्यों नहीं आ रही. ओके, तो आपने एग्जाम दे दिया है? ये नहीं, वो तो हमने दिया ही नहीं. ओके, तो रैंक कैसे आएगी? कैसे आएगी रैंक? So you have to go through all the stages, right? You can't just skip that. Cool. MBA finance is equal to CA? नहीं भाई अनमोल, different degrees हैं. Is doctor is equal to comedian? नहीं. They can be, both can be either, but essentially the degree is different. If the UPI transaction declined among people, it will boom for cash basis shops. The market will get huge profit. The UPI is boom for countries, but according to me, after the application, वो तो होगा ही. Whenever there's a new technology, you will see some hiccups. But ease of transaction कितनी होगी आपको पता है? Earlier, if you have to give 37 rupees, कितने सिक्के उठाते थे दोस्त? That's cool parts. I know a lot of you will be not comfortable with this method of going through study material. I'll tell you why. Because you have never studied study material. You know, because essentially I will do the PPT also. Don't worry. After we do the chapter, मैं 15 मिनट में आपको अपनी PPT भी दिखा दूंगा. So that you know, we'll revise the chapter with my PPT. Okay, we'll revise the chapter with my PPT. That's not an issue. But but this is where the questions will come from. Every statement you read can become a question. Okay. Good strategy execution involves creating strong fits between strategy and organizational capabilities, between strategy and reward structure, between strategy and internal operating system, and between strategy and organizational work, climate, and culture. ये आपने पढ़ लिया? ये आपने पढ़ लिया? I can make a question with 4 options out of this. Which of the following is not an inclusion to be considered for a good strategy execution? ये 4 जोड़ों में से I will change one couple, right? Work, climate, and culture की जगह I'll do work, culture, and capability. You figure out if that's the right thing or not. So study material is like a black hole. You have to read it very, very carefully. The examiners are shrewd, my friend, okay? They have to make exams like they have to figure out the top 100, 200 people out of 20, 50,000 people, okay? So they need to be very, very shrewd in examinations. So be very careful when you're reading the study material as well. That's what the motive of this session is. Cool. स्ट्रैटेजी फॉर्मुलेशन हम लोग पढ़ चुके हैं. ओके, आई टेल यू. आप अगर आप टेबल अब ये देख पा रहे हैं, राइट, स्ट्रैटेजिक प्लानिंग एंड ऑपरेशनल प्लानिंग. सो व्हेन वी से फॉर्मुलेशन, when we say formulation is basically all about simple one thing, which is the big table we did of market penetration, product development wala table. That's there. What is also important is this piece, which says, which says the corporate strategy formulation should be divided into two pieces: strategic planning and operational planning. Strategic planning is philosophical. Operational planning is how do you want to execute that plan. Okay, shapes the organization and its resources. The impact of environmental variables, takes a holistic view, means overall view of the organization, develops overall objectives and strategies, is concerned with the long-term success of the organization. Very cool. It is a senior manager responsibility. Corporate level people are building the philosophical strategies की इस जगह ये बिकना चाहिए, अच्छा लगेगा. ठीक है सर, ठीक है मैम, agreed, good strategy. But now I also need to formulate a strategy to execute and implement it. Then you go back and tell me, okay, I'm okay with that. So let's say the marketing head of a particular brand, there's a shampoo brand, and the senior management brings in the marketer, the finance guy, the business head, and tells them, boss, listen, the sales is growing at 5-6%, the market is growing at 20%. We are way behind the market. We will lose the market share in some years. I want you to go and capture the entire North India. Okay, I want you to go and capture the entire North India with our product. Our product should be the only product in North India. That is my strategy. That is my strategy. Very good. बहुत अच्छी strategy बनाई है आपने. बड़ा अच्छा philosophical काम किया है, which is good. You are a smart guy and you have told us the strategy. ठीक है. Now these guys, the finance head, the marketing head, the business head, they said, "ठीक है, let us just think about it. We'll come back to you tomorrow and we'll discuss." They go, these three work and do some data crunching and figure out, talk to people, and they come back tomorrow and tell us, listen, we can do that for sure. We will need 5 more people to go to the markets. We will need the 1 crore rupees of marketing campaign, and and we will need a new process of order booking which can ease or speed up our orders, because अभी बहुत time लगता है. So आधा दिन तो मेरा sales वाला order booking कर रहा होता है. I don't have the technology. I just need a phone app where I can just write down the name and select 3-4 things and my order is booked and the order is delivered. I want to do that. That's operational formulation. Strategy formulation we have done, but in the back end, a lot of this formulation also happens. मार्केटिंग स्पेंड चाहिए, लोग चाहिए, टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए, पैसे चाहिए भाई. कर तो देंगे, आप क्या दे रहे हो हमें? व्हाट काइंड ऑफ सपोर्ट आर यू गिविंग? व्हाट काइंड ऑफ सपोर्ट इज द कंपनी गिविंग फॉर मी टू अचीव सच अ बिग टारगेट? दैट्स ऑपरेशनल प्लानिंग. And then you figure out, then this business strategic head says, no, you're right, you will need all of this and it's important, but I don't think I can give you that right now. I don't have the money. I don't have so much funds available. They said, okay, we can't be the market leader then. We will have to be the second or third, uh, like in terms of share. You'll have to figure out, right? So the strategy planning and operational planning go hand in hand. From a broad view, when we were talking about in the previous chapter, we talked about strategic planning, which seems very cool, which seems very interesting. मार्केट डेवलप कर देंगे भाई, मार्केट पेनिट्रेट कर दो, डाइवर्सिफाई कर लो, कॉन्सेंट्रिक करो ना. व्हाई आर यू नॉट गोइंग डूइंग कॉन्ग्लोमेरेट? यू शुड बी अ कॉन्ग्लोमेरेट. लुक्स वेरी कूल, sounds very cool, but when it comes to real actions, you realize, shit, we don't have the money, we don't have the people, we don't have the capacity. क्या करूं मैं? Right? So strategic planning and operational planning. When you're doing a formulation, we're getting deeper, okay? We're getting deeper into things. Philosophical say, when the real action happens, the reality comes into the picture. कि ओ गॉड ये तो बहुत टफ है. Okay? पानी बाहर से नहीं पता चलता कितना ठंडा गर्म है, वो कूद के पता चलता है. So that's what strategic planning and operational planning is. I will dive into this in the pool and I will swim. जैसे ही डुबकी मारी इतना ठंडा पानी, आत्मा निकल गई. So that's operational planning. You were not prepared. You should have checked the water. Okay. So that's strategic planning and operational planning. Cool. The next one is uncertainty. Okay, this is all strategic planning and how the planning process works. The process is organization wide, focused on major functions, divisions like I was saying, marketing, finance, HR, more people. Strategic plan determines where the organization is going over the next year, more ways of going there. Okay, it's discussion. Now, when you're formulating, strategic uncertainties are always there because your strategy is based on assumptions. You have not done that. It's all based on some data points, some discussions, some aspirations, some assumption, right? So the uncertainty is always there. The uncertainty is always there. But how do you probably deal or resolve this is dealing with strategic uncertainty can be challenging, and organizations need to have flexible resilience and agility, okay, quickly respond to changes in the environment and minimize its impact. To be manageable, they need to be grouped into logical clusters or themes. It is then useful to assess the importance of each cluster in order to set priorities with the respect of information gathered, and you then analyze it. Okay. Now, when I say uncertainty, which means, okay, which means when you're formulating a strategy, this is what the environment is. Now, I'll just give you one example is if today there is the government is promoting more of infrastructure and you today say ki boss listen, today's government is saying in the next 20 years we have to make so many roads, so many houses, so many pakka houses for the people, so many societies will come up. I think cement trading, not even manufacturing, if I become a cement wholesaler, क्या पैसे कमाएंगे यार. I'll be a crorepati in 2-3 years itself because because the government says बहुत सारा काम है. It's there's a lot of things that are happening in construction area, a lot of houses to be made, roads, infrastructure, offices to be made. I will start the cement business. Very good thought. Next year the government does not even come. A different government comes and says, boss, listen, our focus is education. Infrastructure India has decent. It can wait for another 5 years. We want people to be educated so that they can sell their services or their education to the foreign companies and get more foreign reserves. We want to become the service center or the service industry leader in the world. What if the external aspiration of the government only changes? आपका सीमेंट बिजनेस गोज फॉर अ टॉस. क्या करोगे? क्या करोगे दोस्त? The strategy formulation failed because of the external factor. So how do you tackle these things? How do you tackle all these problems? Is by these 5 points. Is by these 5 points. Number one, organizations can build flexibility into their strategies to quickly adapt to changes in the environment. You got to build flexibilities into your strategies. Okay. Exit options, hamesha you got to prepare when you're entering a business. The smartest of the business people start their business thinking, how do I exit this business? Okay. How and when do I exit this business? That's the smartest business person. I'm starting this shop. If it doesn't work, who can I sell this to and at what price? I might still make some loss. I know I'm going to make some loss because it's not working. I will lose out all my money. I might still sell it for a good amount to somebody. Flexible strategy, exit plan, change plan, ready होना चाहिए. Second is diversification. When you are implementing a strategy, when you are formulating a strategy, diversify your product portfolio, your markets, your customer base. You can reduce the impact of strategic uncertainty. This cement business might diversify to Africa, to Indonesia, to Vietnam, to Bangladesh, to Nepal. वहां तो सरकार चेंज नहीं हो रही है. वहां तो infrastructure is still going to happen. The government is not going to change there next year. Or even if it is, that country as a whole still needs a lot of construction or a lot of things to happen in infrastructure. Start selling products to them. You figure out your diversification to reduce uncertainty. Number three, monitoring and scenario planning. Okay, monitoring and scenario planning is a very, very interesting tool. What it does is it creates scenarios in your mind. A lot of us, okay, especially girls, you guys overthink. This will happen, I will do this. If that happens, I will do that. If this does not happen, I will do this. If that does not happen, I will do that. उसने ऐसा बोला तो मैं ये बोलूंगी. उसने ये कैसे बोला, मैंने तो ये बोला था. Right, all of this is scenario planning. The same happens with the business as well. What happens with the business is, when you're formulating a strategy, when you're strategizing, what you're thinking about is different scenarios. If this thing doesn't work, this is what we will do. If that also doesn't work, this is what we'll do. Right? If you've seen that old office show, there was an old show on television. I don't know. You guys might not know. I was in first or second standard when I used to watch that show, or third, fourth maximum. There's a show. This guy used to come, and his pet dialogue was, "If you do this, two things will happen. Either this or this. If you do this, nothing will happen. If you do this, two more things will happen. If you do this, nothing happens. If you do this, two more things happen." Now, this is called a scenario planning. This is called scenario planning. So you figure out how far you go, and you figure out the strategies, choti small strategies for all the changes that you might foresee, and then you do a scenario planning. Okay. And why is it called monitoring and scenario planning? Because you are creating scenarios basis your current understanding of what is happening around you. You do not have to create scenarios out of thin air. You have to create scenarios basis news, basis people, basis reliable sources of information. Okay. So girls do not have to overthink basis something that their best friend tells them about a particular boy, but go check that. Okay. I'm just joking, sir. Maybe boys are not the right people to talk to. So that's what you're saying. Monitoring and scenario planning. Basis is an information, true source of information. You create scenarios and you're well prepared for the uncertainty. You're well prepared for something going bad or wrong. That's called that's called tackling the uncertainty. Number four is building resilience. Strong ho jao bhai. Be powerful. Organizations can invest in building internal resilience, such as strengthening their operational processes, increasing their financial flexibility, improving their risk management capabilities. Okay. Sometimes things might not work and you might be out of money. But some businesses are very smart. What do businesses do? When they start making money, businesses also go and invest their money. You know, the smartest thing that Ambanis and Adanis and Tatas of the world do is they buy the shares of the competitors. They buy the shares of the competitors, which means if the competitor is winning, they are making money. Even if they're losing their business, they're still making money. And a smart trick. That's called building resilience. I'm just giving you one way how people build resilience is you go and invest in your competitor. As simple as that. Even if you are going to lose to them, you will win. How smart is that? Okay. That's called building resilience. Resilience means सहने की क्षमता, which means how much pain or how much problems you can like take on yourself. Okay, that's called resilience. Collaboration and partnerships. If you figure or you feel there is uncertainty, find the right partners, suppliers, customers, or organizations, competitors, friends, peers. Figure out, make more friendships. Figure out people who can help you in the bad times, who have knowledge, wisdom, money, power, network, and they might help you during the times of uncertainty. That's how you tackle uncertainty for your business strategy as well. And the impact of uncertainty is very clear. Okay. Each element involves potential trend or events that could impact your present, proposed, or the potential business. For example, a trend towards natural foods may present opportunities for juices for a firm producing aerated drinks on the basis of strategic uncertainty. The impact of the strategic uncertainty will depend on the importance of impacted SBU of a firm. However, such measures might need to be supplemented for potential growth as present sales or cost may not reflect the true value. Okay? Which means uncertainty might also come internally in terms of cost changes, in terms of price changes, in terms of forex dollar changes, inflation, interest rate. बहुत कुछ आएगा, right? बहुत कुछ आएगा. You have to be very careful in adjusting of the things that can happen. Build a lot of assumptions into your models. Simply put, you got to put a lot of assumptions and risks and opportunities into your models because things are not going to be the same forever how they are today. Things will change because everything's dependent on the external factor. That's called formulation. When we talk about implementation, the relationship between implementation and formulation is this simple table what you see on your screen. This is called the relationship between formulation and implementation. Okay. Let me ask you this question. If your formulation is very strong, it's very sound, it's flawless, it's like superlative planning. You are excellent planner, but your execution is ekdam flop, zero execution. What will happen to your business? Simply put, overthink karna है प्रिंस. ठीक है, spend your time overthinking. Not my job. Do whatever you want to do, man. The question is, your formulation is fantastic. Your planning skills are fantastic. But your execution is zero. Anda. Zero. You are very poor at execution. What will happen to your business? Rohan says no benefit of strategy formulation. Manpreet says flop business. Sandhika says we will be in the D column. That's right. But what will happen to the business, Sandhika? Right? Vishali sees weak. But what will happen to the business? Will it be a successful business? Will it be a flop business? Or will it just float and survive? Nothing will happen. Business won't work. It's a waste of formulation. Okay. Vaishali, SBU, Strategic Business Unit, we have studied in previous chapters. You will have to go and revise if you have missed those. Strategic Business Unit. Business will not move ahead. Flop business. Nikita, Suman, Vanya, Path, Rohan, Vishali. Okay, these guys are answering. Others have just gone to sleep. Chalega. ठीक है. You guys have to give the examination, not me. So it will just survive if they implement at least 1% of it. Okay. Maybe. And you're right. If your strategy formulation is fantastic, but you are absolutely flawed. Okay, है ही नहीं भाई एग्जीक्यूशन आपके पास. तो आप कहाँ होगे? कहाँ होगे? Okay, आप extremely good planner, but execution नहीं है. That means there is some problem with the business. नहीं उठेगा. नहीं उठेगा business. Right? Now, square A is the situation. This is most frequently asked topic. So carefully read this. A lot of case scenarios will have this. Square A is the situation where a company apparently has formulated a very competitive strategy, a very competitive sound strategy बनाई है, but is showing difficulties in implementing it successfully. This can be due to various factors like lack of experience, example startups, planning बढ़िया है, product बहुत बढ़िया है, right? It's new technology, it's new innovation, it's fantastic product, great planning, great everything. But they lack the experience of how to run a business. They lack the resources unless somebody comes and gives them huge money. The leadership is missing. Young people are leading it. So the experience, the wisdom is missing. And so on and so forth. Could be multiple reasons of why it's not executed. So essentially, a lot of startups are sitting in A. That the ideas, their formulation, their strategies are fantastic, but the execution is weak. तो E column में बैठते हैं. Now, all these companies would want to move from A to B where their formulation to sound hai. Their execution also becomes excellent. Excellent. A wale would want to move to B. Now, B, given they realize their implementation difficulties, they get a different CEO. Somebody onboarded who has experience as a mentor, as a CEO, an investor. They start moving. The startups start moving. Square B is the ideal situation where every company is designed to succeed because of great idea formulation and great execution. So B column is where the companies would want to be. But C column or D column की बात करें अगर, the D column is a situation where the formulation is flawed, but the company is showing excellent implementation skills. What will happen? You tell me. Their vision, mission, objectives are very weak, but they are very mehnati organization. Their implementation, their passion to work is excellent, but the dream is not very clear. तो क्या होगा? क्या होगा? What will happen when you are really hardworking? Your implementation is fantastic, but the objective vision mission is not clear. Is not ag- is not probably flawless. The planning is weak, but the execution is strong. What will happen? Manjeet says challenges in the long run. Absolutely, that's a good one. They will not earn profit in the long run. Strategy need to be reevaluated and modified, Suman. That's right. Reading from the book. Rito says the goals can't be reached. Ruturaj says that means if they adjust the strategy, they will be in a good position. Absolutely. Think about this. I can study 12 hours, but I don't know what to study. I can study 12 hours. I have the concentration, but I don't know what to study. Useless है मेहनत. I am mehnati, but I will never fetch the desired results. Like you said, like you said, okay? In the long run, you might not get the results. Short term, you might. You're absolutely right. Short term, in the unit test, the mehnati kids get a lot of good marks. The kids who are hardworking, you would have seen that in your school days. Fantastic hardworking kids, मतलब टकाटक notes बना रहे हैं, doing all this and everything, but they do not have the smartness to know what they want to study, want to become. They just want to like ratify and do the notes and everything. एकदम पढ़ाकू से बच्चे, right? They used to do excellent during unit test. You give them a unit test, you give them an impromptu test. Class में they knew all the answers. They were the teacher's favorite. But you would have seen they were never the toppers. They were always in the top 5, 6 for sure, but they were never the toppers. The toppers essentially used to be consistent, right? They were like always studying. They knew करना क्या है. They knew extracurricular भी कर रहे हैं, पढ़ाई भी कर रहे हैं. Teacher also likes them. People around them also like them. They have a lot of friends. Those used to be the toppers, right? So your execution can be fantastic, but unless you have a strategy, unless you know where you're going, unless you know what you're doing, कोई फायदा ही नहीं है मेहनत का. Okay, that's what column D is. Now column C वाले तो बेचारे वो हैं, ना प्लानिंग है ना एग्जीक्यूशन है. Square C is denoted by, okay, companies that haven't succeeded in coming up with a sound strategy formulation and in addition are bad at implementing their flawed strategic model. Okay, strategy C or square C denotes for companies that haven't succeeded in coming up with a sound strategy and in addition are bad at implementing, which means या तो strategy, the plan is wrong and the implementation is even worse. एक तो गलत प्लान बनाया, ऊपर से उसको भी implement नहीं किया. Okay, now think about this. First, the plan is एकदम wrong. The second is even the execution of the wrong plan is also weak. So this is like goodbye business. Tata CEO, right? The business is not going to function at all. It's not going to function at all. That's square C. Okay. Taken together, all the elements of business strategy, it is to be seen as a chosen set of actions by means of which a market position related to the competitive enterprises is sought and maintained. This gives us the notion of competitive position. The above box tells you how good your competitive position will be because you know my execution is good, my formulation is good, my idea is good. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be a competitive company. You will get that confidence as an organization, as a business, when you know where you sit. अभी देखो सारा कुछ relates to your personal life as well, to your studies as well. A lot of people keep saying be confident going into the examination. भैया कैसे? I could never figure that out, right? Now when you go back and look at how businesses, how structured thinking works, you, you should know these syllabus or topics are not just about examination. Think about using these in your own personal life, okay? Your own philosophical thoughts. These give you structure. This will essentially give you structure to your base, everything you do in your life. Okay. Think about this. What it's saying is the business will get confidence that they have a good competitive position when they are in column B or box B. You're like, हाँ बात तो ठीक है. Makes sense. And the same thing will happen with you from an exam perspective. If you know, okay, no one knows you better than yourself. You know your formulation is right. You know my strategy matches with my resources in terms of time, in terms of availability of environment. मुझे कहाँ पढ़ना है, कितना पढ़ना है, किससे पढ़ना है, right? You have that strategy formulation. And how far are you executing? 2-2 घंटे खड़े होके दोस्तों के साथ मोमोज खाओगे तो कॉलम बी में नहीं हो दोस्त. You might have a fantastic formulation strategy, but your execution is weak. You are in A column, bound to fail in the long run. Okay? Going for a movie every Friday, watching web series, watching the Panchayat, or watching whatever show, Gangs of Wasseypur, or whatever show you watch. You might be fantastic plan. टाइम टेबल बहुत सुंदर लगा होगा. टेबल के आगे बहुत ही सुंदर चार्ट पे you will have a timetable. You're not executing. You will never get that confidence yourself, and you agree it internally. Subconsciously you will agree to it. The moment you convert yourself to B, जितना प्लान किया था उतना ही nobody's asking you to get a rank. Okay, let me be very clear. Nobody's asking you to be the topper of the world. Just execute what you plan for. आपको 2 घंटे का प्लान है, आप 2 घंटे पढ़ लो, you will be confident. You will be in B because your formulation and your execution match. What you planned for, you achieved. Confidence आ जाएगा. Plan ही flawed है. 16 घंटे पढ़ेंगे. I will study for 16 hours in the day. The plan is flawed. You cannot. The plan is flawed. I will study for 8 hours. Good plan. But you study for only 4 hours. Bad execution. I will study for 6.5 hours because I know इससे ज़्यादा I cannot. That's a fantastic plan. And you study for 6.5 hours. Column B, you are confident in the exam hall. As simple as that. देखो, business strategic management is all about time management and exam management. There is another concept within this matrix. Okay, I'll tell you. There's another concept within this matrix which talks about, I'll go back to that box again, but think about this. There are two kinds of people, there are two kinds of strategies, there are two kinds of thought processes, there are two kinds of schools of thought. The number one is called being efficient, and the other one is called being effective. One is called being efficient, and other one is called being effective. Okay. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say there are a lot of people like running on the road, a lot of people running on the road to reach a particular point. Think about, okay, imagine 200 people running on the road to reach a finish line. Okay, you come with your skates on, you are wearing roller skates, right? The skating thing, the tires, the thing, you're wearing roller skates, and you skate and you go ahead of everybody and you win. Is that effective or efficient? Is that effective or efficient? Are you efficient? Will they call you very efficient or they call you very effective? Everybody's running to reach the finish line. आप roller skates पे आए and you win. And you win that race. Will they call you effective or efficient? क्या बुलाएंगे आपको? Efficient, effective, effective, efficient, efficient, effective. ठीक है? Let's see more answers. I want all of you to answer, please. If you have gone, you don't have an option to call yourself a cheater. You just have to tell you're efficient or effective. Everything is fair in business, right? You would have heard that. If you've seen Scam 1992, Scam 2003, Telugu story, or any business, a web series, any business show, everything is fair in business. It's just about you got to be compliant enough and not harm anybody. Effective, effective, efficient, effective, efficient, effective. Okay. To be effective is to do the right thing, while to be efficient is to do the thing right. यहाँ पे if you are on roller skates, you are efficient. Okay, you're doing the thing right. अरे भैया जब skates से जल्दी जाया जा सकता है, if you can reach faster with skates, why do you want to run? You're doing the thing right. You're doing the thing how it should be. If I can just wear roller skates and be faster, why should I jog and waste so much energy? When the tires have already been innovated, why shouldn't I use that? Okay? You are called efficient, but you're not effective because you are not doing the right thing. It's a marathon. Everybody's running. आप कह रहे हो नहीं नहीं ऐसे नहीं मैं तो ऐसे करूंगा. Now somebody who's like I think Prince was saying cheater. Now this is where the cheater concept comes into the picture. People will call you are cheating. Why? Why will people call you are cheating? Have you ever imagined? Why somebody is called they have cheated? Even in the game, okay? Even in any sport, because they are not effective. They might be efficient. Now, you would have seen that reel where this Bangladeshi player is blocking MS Dhoni, and then MS Dhoni comes and gives him a shoulder crunch and says, "Bhad mein ja, I will uh, run against you." Okay, he does that. That means that player was very efficient. That Bangladeshi player was efficient. He tried to get MS Dhoni out. He was efficient. But was he effective? No, because he was not doing the right thing. That's why people said he's a cheater, he's a bad sports person. We don't want such people. So the thing in business and strategy is you got to be finding the balance between the two. You got to do the right thing and you got to do the thing right. Okay? Balance ढूंढना है. Otherwise, people are ready to come and question you. Like, yeah, this is not the right way to do things. You're wrong. You are this, you're that. People will not take even a second to prove you wrong. Even if you are efficient, even if you're meeting your goals, even if you're achieving your results, people will say गलत तरीके से किया है. ऐसे नहीं allowed. ऐसे नहीं हो सकता. This is not allowed. This is wrong. And you say, who says this is not allowed? They say, we telling you because this is not the right thing to do, right? This is not the right thing to do. You cannot just go and burn down your competitor's factory and say, kya ho gaya? He was my competitor. I just burned down, I sent 200 goons. They just burned down the entire factory of my competitor. Who cares? That's not how it is, right? That's not how the business happens. So you got to be effective and efficient. I know I'm giving very random, violent examples, but you get my point, right? But you get my point. A business, now if you look at the table above, okay, if the business, you look at this operational management and strategic formulation. When we say effective, effective means doing the right thing. That means if your idea, your strategy formulation is either effective or ineffective. That means या तो आपका planning is very fair, you're very ethical, your ideas are about doing the right thing. I want to be a good business. This is how I will do my business. This is the process. These are the stages. This is how I will do it. Great. That's great. You're effective. But operational management, the people who will implement formulation, implementation, formulation, implementation. So when the formulation is either effective or ineffective, formulation is effective or ineffective, which is doing the right thing. Idea में ही तो सोचो, when you're formulating a strategy, you will either be effective or ineffective. When you're implementing the strategy, you will either be efficient or inefficient, doing the thing right or doing the thing wrong. When you're formulating effective, when you're implementing, you should be efficient. If your formulation is effective, your implementation is efficient, you will thrive as a business. You will grow crazy, right? There will be no stopping. You will keep growing as a business. But the moment something starts moving, when you're effective, but you're planning to do the right thing, but you are not doing it the right way, you will just survive. Because you're actually doing the right thing, but you're not doing it the right way. You're actually doing the right thing, but you're not doing it the right way. Classic example, eh? Classic example is dieting. Okay, when somebody says, I want to wear this lehenga on this because it's a marriage season. I'm just giving you that example. I want to wear this lehenga, so I need to lose 2 kgs. A boy says, I want to wear this suit, so mera pet nahi dikhna chahiye, so I got to lose 2 kgs. I'll go on dieting. Great, that's what you got to do. You got to do the right thing. That's fine. You say, I'll do dieting. That means your formulation is right. You're thinking the right thing. You're thinking about doing the right thing, which is dieting. Formulation effective हो गई. But dieting आपने क्या किया कि you were not efficient. You're not doing the right dieting. What you're doing is you're eating the wrong things. That means you're saying, मैं सिर्फ चावल खाऊंगा. I will not eat roti. I will only eat rice. I will stop eating roti because I'm on dieting. I'm on dieting. I will not eat roti sabzi. I will only eat dahi chawal. Okay, or curd rice for that matter. Okay, I will only eat curd rice, no dal sabzi roti for me. You're dieting, but inefficient those. Inefficient dieting कर रहे हो. You might reach your goal. You might lose 2 kgs, but the level of nutrients in your bodies go down. So you will just survive. You will not be great. So kahin na kahin, your health will deteriorate. So you have an effective plan, but your execution is inefficient. Okay. So you will reach the goal. You will survive. That means you will achieve the goal, but that might come with a lot of conditions, a lot of other problems. Okay. So you got to be effective as well as efficient. When your planning is ineffective, when your planning is ineffective, but you execute it with efficiency, you will die slowly. You will die slowly because at the end of the day, you are not doing the right thing. You're doing the wrong thing. Unethical कर रहे हो, चोरी चकारी कर रहे हो, theft कर रहे हो. Okay, you're being a thief, or you're scamming people. You're scamming people, but you're doing it with perfection. You're scamming people, but you're doing it with perfection. You will die slowly. Efficiency है. You are a fantastic thief, but you are a thief. You are a fantastic thief, but you are a thief. You will die slowly anyway. It's not going to be a long-term sustainable business. Ineffective, inefficiency, die quickly. फटाफट wrap up हो जाएगा business and you will be out of business. Okay. There is always a trade-off between options. Always. Till your deathbed. Till you're taking your last breath, it's a trade-off only, those. It's everything is a trade-off. You waking up at 7 in the morning to study versus sleeping is a trade-off. You wanting to write this in the chat box, others not wanting to communicate. हाँ ठीक है बोल रहे हैं बोलने दो क्या सुनना ही तो है. It's a trade-off. Okay. You might get your questions answered, others might not. It's a trade off. So everything is a trade off. Are we clear till here? Are we clear till here? We'll take a 10 minutes break here and then come back. If all clear and good, just give me a thumbs up so that before we go on the break, come back, continue with even more interesting topic called linkages. This you can study yourself. It's just this the difference between formulation and implementation. That's not it. I would want to go to linkages and issues in strategy implementation. It's a fantastic, interesting topic. All clear, give me a thumbs up. Okay, whatever you want to give or say, and then take a 10 minutes break. Awesome. Thanks, Manpreet, Prince Jay, Rachna, Gaurav, Prudvi, Prajakta, Venya, Navanya, Kishori, Prince, Parth, Tanisha, Prudvi, Jay, Manpreet, Minakshi, Nikita. Cool, these guys are only active. Very nice. Or corner. I have more people. आगे और भी आगे मैंने पता थम्स अप भेजने से हमारे क्वेश्चन आंसर कोई नहीं कर रहा है सुपर ऋतुराज श्रीनिवासन दिव्या मार्टिन रचना प्रियंका वदलमणि रितु cool so let's see you in 10 minutes. It's 8:30 and let's see you at 8:40 in 10 minutes when we join back. Till then let's take a 10 minutes break. I'll see you in 10 minutes, guys. All right, everyone, we are back. I'll wait
Recording in progress.
for another 1 minute for you guys to join back as well, and then we start with the linkages and issues in strategic implementation. An example for die quick is what Vishali is asking. Okay, so Vishali, die quick example could be, let's go to that table once. Okay, he's saying die quick. Here we go. So ineffective that your plan is wrong. So essentially, like we were talking an example of for exams only. So if you think you will study for 16 hours is an ineffective plan, and you are not even studying 16 hours as well because you cannot. So ineffective planning and inefficient execution, you will die very quickly. That means within 2-3 days you'll figure out कि नहीं हो रहा है. Okay, you plan for 16 days, you only study for 16 hours, you only study for 3 hours. Very quickly you'll figure out this is not going to work. Let's die quickly. Somebody did not say it's that's how Zoom starts recording. So, conceptual intuitive, which means intuitive means subconscious, and conceptual intuitive means the conceptual understanding, the core understanding of a particular concept is called conceptual intuitive of a particular business or somebody who is making a strategy. All right, let's get into the next topic, which is linkages and issues in strategy implementation. Okay. When we say linkages, we're talking about link between formulation and implementation. Okay. The link between formulation and implementation is what we're talking about. Now, forward linkage means, right? Now, think about this. Think about this. You have to think about implementation while you're formulating your strategy. Okay, you have to think about execution even at the planning stage itself. For example, if you read this, the organizational structure has to undergo a change in the light of the requirement of a modified or a new strategy. The style of leadership has to be adapted to the needs of the modified or new strategy. In this way, the formulation of strategy has a forward linkage with their implementation. If you want to become a conglomerate, if you want to grow as a concentric business, you will have new leadership team, you will have new people joining the organization, you will have new organizational structure, new reporting structure in the organization. When that happens, you have to think about it. You have to prepare for it even while you are planning. You cannot just dream about growing a company without even being sure of its forward linkage with the implementation. When you're thinking about a strategy, you think about, will I be able to implement it? If I have the resource, time, capacity to implement it? If the answer is yes, your strategy formulation will happen. If the answer is no, then that strategy formulation is of no use. So it's a forward linkage, thinking about implementation while formulating. The backward linkage is the reverse of this. Okay. Now, for example, while dealing with strategic choice, remember that past strategic actions also determine the choice of strategy. Organizations tend to adopt those strategies which can be implemented with the help of present structure of resources combined with some additional efforts. Such incremental changes over a period of time take the organization from where it is to where it wishes to be. Okay. Now, what it says is a backward integration is Historical experience of implementation, historical experience of implementation will also impact formulation. Future implementation and historic implementation. Forward linkage, backward linkage. Will I be able to implement this strategy in the future? Will decide my strategy formulation. How was my experience with the previous strategy implementation will also help me decide my formulation, my strategy, my idea, my dream. Was I able to do it the last time? Yes. Let me do that again. I wasn't able to do that last time. So maybe that's not something I can do, or that's not something that suits me, right? Your strategy in foundation worked for you, you scored a great score, you will be repeating that strategy in intermediate for sure. People who could not clear foundation in first go, they figured out that maybe that strategy was not working for me, so they changed their strategy. Forward, backward linkage. Okay, that didn't work. Let's change it. Will that work in the future? Will I be able to implement it? Yes, I will be. Let's formulate. Let's think about this strategy even more then. Okay, forward and backward linkages. Clear? Great. Issues in strategy implementation. Again, this is simple. Issues are very simple. Issues, three levels of issues. What they're talking about is that issues in implementation is it's an uphill task, right? It's an uphill task. It's not just one single implementation. You have a broad plan. You have a broad plan. The plans have programs, and every program has small projects. Okay, there is a plan, there is a program, and so a plan has multiple programs. Each program has multiple projects. So all of that needs to be executed to actually achieve that overall plan. Your strategic plan, programs, projects, right? You had heard about a lot of engineers, a lot of people say, ki, I'm part of this project, I'm doing this project, I'm doing that project. They are doing those projects to complete one program. With that program, 3, 4, 5 programs come together to build a strategic plan. Right? Your strategic plan B could be anything. Like, let's say introducing a new product is your strategic plan. The programs could be setting the prices, setting the manufacturing unit for it, setting the marketing campaign for it, designing the product. 4 programs. Within manufacturing, a new manufacturing facility for that product, there will be projects, right? Procurement team, raw materials team, logistics team, design team, compliance team, safety team. उनके पास छोटे छोटे projects होंगे कि to ensure the safety is there in the facility, the design is there, overall execution is happening, the flow of the floor, the flow of the manufacturing is right. All of that comes together to build that program of manufacturing. Then marketing, finance, all these different programs are there. They figure out their thing, all of them come together to do a strategic plan of a new product launch. So execution में issues ये हैं. What's the issue in strategy implementation is that it's a tedious network of tasks and actions that need to be done within timelines. Within timelines. इतना सारा काम है. You have to do it within timelines, and that's what the beauty of a business is. A strategic plan has programs have projects. All of these need to be done in conjunction, in together, mutual form, holistic form, with timelines. That's the only issue with implementation. How does a business manage that? That's the biggest issue with implementation. Okay. Some sequential manner in the issues in strategy implementation which are to be considered. Okay. Given below in sequential manner the issues in strategy implementation, you can consider like project implementation, procedures, resource allocation, structure implementation, functional implementation, behavioral implementation. All these issues might come when you do actual implementation. Now, if you go to this para, this is an interesting para in the study material, okay? What it tells you is how do you solve these issues? How do you solve these issues? And these are basic common sense. In fact, majority of the questions come from, a lot of questions come from these paragraphs, okay? Note down, mark, whatever you want to do, page number 5.19, the solutions to issues in implementation. कैसे करते हैं, राइट? रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग, री इंजीनियरिंग, ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर होता है, एलोकेशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेज होता है, रिवाइजिंग रिवॉर्ड्स एंड इंसेंटिव प्लान्स होता है, मिनिमाइजिंग रेजिस्टेंस टू चेंज होता है, डेवलपिंग अ स्ट्रैटेजी सपोर्टिव कल्चर होता है, right? To ensure that the implementation is happening, you have to reward people, you have to keep them motivated, you have to make them happy, you have to ensure the processes are right, people are not getting tired just correcting the data. They should really be working on analyzing and making sense of the data or decision making or product, right? They should not be lost in the processes of the company, that they're like, I don't know who to reach out to, how to reach a particular person, how to reach this particular thing. There should be clear flow of things that people should know. Otherwise, people will be tired and they'll be frustrated, right? So processes, technology, people, rewards, recognitions, resistance to change, culture, leadership, all of this has to come while you're implementing so that the issues of implementation are tackled, and implementation is a success. It is effective or efficient. It is effective or efficient. Implementation क्या होता है? Implementation is effective or efficient. अभी देखो टेस्ट भी हो गया. Is implementation effective or efficient? Sanjana, I just gave you examples of forward and backward linkages. Efficient, 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 effective. एक effective है, बाकी सब efficient आए. Implementation is efficient or effective. सब लोग फिर भूल गए, अब भी पढ़ा है. Remember, take a photo in your brain of this. Implementation is efficient, formulation is effective. Formulation effective, implementation efficient. बस फोटो खींच के रख लो दिमाग में. ओके जी. ओके. Strategic change through digital transformation. The future of business management. Digital transformation. Digital transformation, it's a new topic, okay? It's a new topic in the syllabus. So expect a lot of questions coming in from new topics. Yeah, Priyanka, you were right. Okay. This is a new topic in the syllabus, so expect a lot of questions coming in. Strategic change through digital transformation. Changes in the environment forces often require businesses to make modifications in their existing strategies and bring out new strategies. Strategic change is a complex process. It involves refocus, redesigning market, product, service, new ways of doing business, figure out, think out of the box, be creative. Okay, that's strategic change. Steps to initiate strategic change. Okay, there are three steps. Three steps when you have to bring a strategic change. But I think first you need to figure out, why do you need a strategic change? Why do you need a strategic change? पहले तो मुझे ये बताओ. Why do you need a strategic change? We have done that. We have done that. Okay. We have done why do you need a strategic change. कौन सी strategy में पढ़ा था हमने, मुझे ये बताओ. Which strategy we were talking about when we said, oh, we need to change the strategy? Change in environment. Okay. When old strategies are not working. True. Retrenchment. Turnaround. turnaround strategy, retrenchment strategy, environmental changes, when the external environment changes, the competitor changes, anything that you feel needs to change is going to create disruption for your existing strategy, you will go for a strategic change. External changes, flaw in the cater to changing environment. If your strategy is not working, you will change the strategy. Absolutely. Now, steps are also there. Very simple. First, recognize the need for change. The first step is to diagnose which facets of the present culture or strategy are not supportive. You got to go and change that. Number one, recognizing why do you need a change. Number two is create a shared vision to manage change, which means what? Which means this. The senior managers need to constantly and consistently communicate to the entire organization. They have to convince all the concerned parties that the change in the business culture is not superficial or cosmetic. Okay? You have to create a shared vision, which means first you figure out the need for change. Then you have to go and convince every stakeholder. Mendelow's matrix. Mendelow's matrix याद है दोस्त? When you're going for a change, first you figure out why I want to change. Number two, you create a shared vision to manage that change. Boss, you say, all right, this is why I want to change. And you go and convince every single person related or concerned with your business that you need a change. Number three, institutionalize the change, which means basically means figure out resources, structure your change, all right? Creating and sustaining a different attitude towards change is essential to ensure that the firm does not slip back to old ways. Institutionalize means give a structure to the change. This is how it is going to be from today. Okay? जैसे ट्रैफिक पुलिस रूल्स आते हैं, जैसे रूल्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट कम इनटू द पिक्चर, दे इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज द चेंज. GST rate from the 1st of December 2023 effective will be 8%. Institutionalize कर दिया, स्ट्रक्चर दे दिया, डेडलाइन दे दी, इफेक्टिव डेट दे दी. बियॉन्ड दैट नो, नथिंग अलाउड. 1st December से this is how it will be. You have to institutionalize the change. Okay, 3 steps. Identify why you need a change. 2, convince, uh, influence everybody related to the business that you need a change. Number 3, be very strict and adamant. These are the wrong words, okay? Strict and adamant. Essentially, the good word in strategies, you institutionalize the change. But it means you got to do what you got to do from a particular date. This is how it happens. Simple. Okay. Now, एक हमारे दोस्त थे. There was one of our friends. His name was Kurt Lewin. अब Kurt Lewin जी क्या कहते हैं? कहते हैं यार ठीक है, बड़ा मतलब you have explained it very nicely. ठीक है, क्यों चाहिए change? How will I do change? एक मॉडल होना चाहिए, मतलब that every business, every organization can use, so that the change that happens is a long-term change. It shouldn't be like a band-aid. It should be a permanent solution. Okay, it should not be a temporary fixation on a strategy problem. Your strategy काम नहीं कर रही, एक छोटा मोटा जुगाड़ करके you just changed one thing, एक band-aid type सा लगा दिया and that starts working. No, don't do that. You got to make this change lasting. This is how the structure itself changes. That is how you as a human change. Okay, you're not just changing for a few days ki aaj se to I will be very dedicated and disciplined, and 3 days back you again go back to your normal lazy self. Don't do that. What's the use of those 3 days then? Nothing. You got to make this change lasting. How do you do that? He said, okay, make 3 phases. The first phase is unfreezing the situation. Unfreezing the situation, it simply means, right, that all individuals are aware of the necessity for change and prepare them for such a change. You tell everybody that, boss, listen, this is not working. We need to change this. You're unfreezing the situation in everybody's head. You're telling them this is not going to work. We got to change. Sudden and unannounced change will be socially destructive and morale lowering. So you should do it in a slow and steady manner. The management must pave the way for the change by first unfreezing the situation. Directly change नहीं होता है, right? Directly you can't just go and say from tomorrow this is not happening. People are like, what the hell, I'm working with you, man. You got to tell me, you got to give some time, you got to give some reason why that's happening. Then you have to give me time to understand if that makes sense, and then I will be happy with this change. So first you got to unfreeze. You got to start telling people that this is not working, this is not working, we need to change, we need to change, we need to change, not working, not working, so that people start or get to know that, okay, things are unfreezing. People are not happy about how things are. So the members would be willing and ready to accept the change when it comes. So first is you unfreeze the situation. The second is you change to the new situation. Okay. You change to the new situation. You tell people that, okay, we were talking about something is not right. See how leadership works. How leadership works is first they come, the first meeting they will come and tell you the company is not working well. There are a couple of problems, couple of challenges, this things we have identified, and we will come back to you after 2 months to let you know how are we solving these problems. You unfreeze the situation. The CEO comes and she says that, boss, listen, our company is not working well. We need to probably grow faster. We need to give better results, and things are not right. These are the 5 areas we think we need to improve. After 2 months, we will come back with a plan for all of you how we want to change this situation. So for the next 2 months, the people, the leaders, the functional leaders, the business leaders, the people working under them, everybody is mentally unfrozen. They're like, हाँ ठीक है, कुछ आने वाला है, कुछ आने वाला है. 2 महीने बाद, after 2 months, she gets into a meeting and she tells everybody, listen, these are the changes we have proposed, and this is how this will happen in different phases. From next month, this will change. After 3 months, that will change. After 6 months, that will change. After 1 year, everything changes. Okay. And there are three ways, and there are 3 ways she can actually put people responsible to do or comply to the changes. Now, what she can do is she can either, okay, make it a compliance way of making the change. One way of doing is making the change through compliance mode, which means if if you achieve the change, if people start doing the change, if people are doing what she's telling them to do as the new thing, you get the reward. If you're not doing it, you get punishment. And this fear of punishment, or actual punishment, or even actual reward for that matter, seems to change the behavior of the people. She says, after 1 month, this is the change we propose. If you do this, you will be rewarded. If you continue doing the wrong thing, you might have to face your job, right? We might just cut people off. She might come and say, let's, for example, in the meeting, she would come and say that after 1 month, we would do a performance review. If everybody who is probably working as per the rules will be there, everybody who is not working as per rules, we might have to re-look at their employment. ऐसा बोल के she will go. Which means she is telling you कि भाई change हमने कर दिया है, आप मानोगे तो अच्छा है. If you're not going to comply with us, you might just have to go out of the organization. Okay, that's compliance mode. The second way she can do is, it's called identification. It's called identification. This happens This happens when you give them some role models whose behavior the people like to copy, or people are very influenced by them. You figure out some role models in the organization and you make them do or comply with those changes, and you make them tell everybody ki bhai, comply with the changes, so that people feel if this person is doing something would be right, we can also do that. It's not a big deal, right? It's called identification. For example, people might love the CEO, the people might love a particular business leader, people might love a particular person in the organization, or the chairperson, or the owner, or the founder, or the co-founder, or the investor in a company. They will bring them. So the organization will bring them and tell them, boss, we are bringing a big change, and a lot of people love you, a lot of people are impressed by you, a lot of people are influenced by you. We want you to do every month one webinar, so that with people where you go and tell them that you are also bringing all these changes into your way of doing work, which the company wants, which will help people to probably understand why is it important, and they would start getting into those changes as well, without any fight, without any cries, and without any hallagulla. Okay, that's called identification. The third one is called internalization. Internalization is more of a psychological concept. Okay, now this is when you internally change the thought process of individuals. You give them freedom to learn, adopt new behaviors in order to succeed in the new circumstances. Internalization is a psychological concept where you sell the idea to people that the change brings an opportunity for you to see something new, to learn something new, to get to do new stuff. Be excited about it. It's your time to learn something new. A business doesn't really go into new strategies every single day. This is something new you will learn, and you're learning it for free. We are paying you salary to learn a business strategy implementation. You are a big partner for us in this change. We want you to do this. You are the leader of this project. You are the essential part of this big program. You are an important part of this big plan that we have for the organization. You are an equal important part. You make them feel important. You make them feel liked. You make them feel that they are going to learn something new, and they start accepting the change. That's called changing to new situation. Unfreeze, bring about the changes. You can bring about the changes in three ways: compliance, identification, internalization. And after all of this is done, you refreeze. After 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, the timelines. After 1 year, everything is done, refreeze. New company, new strategy, new ways of doing things. This keeps on going. फर्दर कोई चेंज आएगा तो फिर चेंज लाएंगे, कुछ और आएगा तो फिर चेंज लाएंगे, राइट? बट अनफ्रीजिंग, ब्रिंगिंग द चेंज, रीफ्रीजिंग, कर्ट लेविन जी ने ये बताया है हमें. Implementation of ERP systems in the company first time is the example we can take. Absolutely, yes, you can. But in situations in which there is a lack of time, unfreezing would be time consuming and inefficient thing. Rudraj, depends. You're right. Sometimes the company might be in a very bad position. Then all of this doesn't really make sense because you're already in a very bad position. So people also know the company is in a mess. So then you might want to do everything very quickly. What we're studying right now is an ideal scenario. कि भाई ऐसा होगा तो बहुत अच्छा होगा. क्या ऐसा होगा? Will this be the right scenario situation? Maybe not. But this is an ideal scenario that this is if this happens in this way, it's going to be one of the best executions. Okay, cool. Now when we say change, a lot of businesses today, okay, how much change is acceptable depends on the leadership, Srinivasan. If the leadership can sell huge changes, big changes, kudos to them. They are great leaders. Sometimes people are not able to sell changes. That's a big problem. For change, the leader has to be really, really influential. Otherwise, people are just going to bash you out of the company. With this, we are reaching our last topic for today, which is how does digital transformation work? Okay, how does digital transformation really work? Now, why is it part of change management? Is because all these companies, big and small, are going through digital transformation. Okay, from the smallest Panwadi to the biggest Reliance to the biggest Adani Ports to BHEL to ONGC to Flipkart to Amazon to American Express to Goldman Sachs to any company you say, Airtel. Okay, all these companies, big and small, are going through digital transformation. The technology is changing, the way of doing business is changing. The employees, think about this, think about this. The employees who are at the leadership level are 45, 50-year-old men and women. Okay. The ways of thinking they have changed. The new employees are 23, 24-year-old people like you and me, younger than me for sure, older than you maybe, right? But the thought process, the way of doing things are extremely different. The passion, the energy, the excitement is different. Earlier, people used to think, I got a job. I will stay here for next 20 years, retire from here, daily go into the same through the same bus to the same office, come back same time, 9 to 5 dot to dot. That is how the work used to happen. Today's business, I can work at 6 a.m. in the morning and free me at 12 p.m. I will work from my laptop from my home. I can take calls at night. I will work from a cafe. I will work from here. I have a life. I will take 20 days off. I'm going on Himachal trip with my friends. I'm going on a bike ride. I don't want to work. I want free food. I want free Wi-Fi. I want a very cool laptop. I got work on a small ganda laptop office in the area. Give me a good laptop. I need this. I want to go well dressed. I want a nice bag. I want a nice office. The ways of work are changing. The ways of work, people are tech savvy. The new employee is digitally very sound. You tell them do this manual entry, they will leave in 2 months. They'll say, ये थोड़ी ना करने आया हूँ मैं, right? Because digital transformation, they're not used to slow things. This is going to be a very, very big problem for the corporate India very soon. The next generation of workers is very smart, works on speed, knows the technology better than the leaders who are sitting in the organization, and there's going to be a big conflict. This is where a lot of change management, this is where a lot of digital transformation would come into picture into the organizations. They cannot just rely on old systems and old ways of doing things. They have to change. And that is why this topic is here for you, because you are going to be the next gen of leaders into the companies. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to be leading a team of 10, 15 people. You're going to be sitting into big meetings with people of equal cadre, right? Taking decisions for the organizations, your own business maybe, right? So you got to be prepared with this. Your brain needs to know this essentially. You got to use or not as a secondary thing, but your brain needs to know this. And let's get into this. Change management enters into the picture here. When we talk about digital transformation, change management enters the picture here. Organizations can plan, prepare for, and carry out changes in their organization, okay, in their operations, including this digital transformation, aid of disciplines of change management. When implemented correctly, the change management may assist firms in overcoming the obstacles posed by digital transition and reaping the full rewards of the investment. Okay. But how does change management appear when applied to digital transformation? Let's read this. Om, your question I'll keep here. Okay. It's a question or a statement? If you're attending Live classes, or know that you can do one group exam. Now in the new scheme, I had started prepared for a few days. Super. You're from foundation. Very nice. He's coming from foundation. Oh, good to see you here. And I'll answer your question. You have to wait for 10 minutes. Once we do this topic, I'll come back to your question. I see it's a good question, a common question for a lot of people. Will do that. So change management in the digital transition consists of four essential elements. Okay. Number one. Number one is defining the goals and objectives of the transformation. चाहिए क्यों? Why do you need it? Number two, assessing the current state of organization and identifying gaps. Assessing the current state of organization, identifying gaps where the technology is lacking, which process, which people, which team, what project, what product. Where does technology, digital transformation needs to enter and make it more efficient? Okay. Number one, defining the goals and objectives of the transformation. Why do we need this? Why do we need this? Okay. End goal क्या है? इससे क्या होगा? It will improve my efficiency. It will improve my working hours. It will improve my culture. It will improve the work life of my people. It will improve my profitability. It will improve my public image. What will it do? The goals and objectives of transformation have to be clear. Number two, the current state of digital transformation technology versus the gaps you identify. Number three, creating a roadmap for change that outlines the steps needed to reach the desired state. Roadmap banana, phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four. 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. First 3 months we do that. Next 3 months we do that. Next 3 months we do that. Final 3 months we do that. 1 year of transformation, we reach our final position where we want to be, creating a roadmap. Number four, implementing and managing the change at every level of the organization. It's not just the top people sitting within the boardrooms who can manage change. People on the field, people who are actually selling or making that stuff that is now digitally transformed have to be communicated, involved in this entire process to make it more seamless, to make it more energetic, to make it more positive for the organization to reap the benefits it desires, right? Define the goal, assess the current situation and gap, fill those gaps, create a roadmap, and do that at all the levels of the organization. Do that at all levels of the organization. Do not miss out anybody. That's as simple as that. Change management cannot leave out anybody uncommunicated, unattended. It will create a mess for your business. सबका ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा जब change हो रहा होता है. Okay, cool. With that, I'll stop here for today. 9:20 already. I'll spend another 4-5 minutes with you guys on any questions and answers. And we continue from here today. How does change management work? Right? Page 523. And then we see where this chapter goes. Almost there, I think. A couple of interesting topics left. But yeah, almost 45-50% done. We were saying, okay, you want to know that can we do one group exam or not in this new scheme, or I have just started preparing for that. You can do one group as well, is what I know of, right? Even in the new scheme, you can. But I'm not very sure. I'll have to go through that entire document again. Good to see you after years. इतना टाइम थोड़ी ना होगा. कितना टाइम हो गया? Thanks, Muniri. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm having my dawai wala pani, so I hope my throat gets better by tomorrow, but let's see. Absolutely, fear of punishment can get employees exit the organization. That's true as well. Any questions, thoughts, anything? Drop in. I'm here to answer and resolve that. For now, the session is done. The topics are done. We're just taking up questions for the next 5 minutes, and then we wrap up for today. Very nice. Good to see you here in intermediate as well, coming from foundation. Hopefully, we'll see you in finals as well. Super. So Suman is helping you. She's saying Attempting one group is also allowed in the new scheme. So here's your answer. That's why I tell you these classes are fantastic. You get to talk to 100 more people who are doing the same thing, who are facing the same questions. Oh, Navanya. It's not Navanya, it's Navanya. Got it. Navanya, I'll remember this. The pronunciation is Navanya. Got it. Thanks. All right. Good to see you, Om. You are from Bhutan. Awesome. बुलाओ कभी यार हमको भी भूटान. Happy to visit. Natural beauty. Thanks, Meenakshi. Okay, Ruturaj has a question. What changes in strategy implementation did you notice in the companies I worked with? Hmm. A lot of like people were saying ERP changes happen, leadership changes happen, the new businesses keep coming. So a lot of new business people enter, new processes come. Okay. Biggest for finance people is ERP systems, from moving from one Oracle to an SAP, from an SAP to an Oracle to Hyperion to this plan to Anaplan to ERM. Too many processes and tools keep changing. So that's one big change you see as finance. Baki, a lot of people keep changing, a lot of leadership. Somebody will leave, somebody new will come. They will have new ways of doing things. So that's a lot of change management that keeps happening in big companies. So it's all about managing people at the end of the day, right? If you're good with people, if you know how to manage people, you can do change management because the work has to be done by people at the end of the day. Super. Thanks, Priyanka. Good to know that you're learning new things. Thanks, Om. Cool. With that, let's wrap up for today. Thanks, Varun. Thanks. Really enjoyed. I also enjoyed the session. Thanks everybody who was active. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, 7 a.m. We'll start with change management again. Till then, take care, guys. Thank you so much.
Recording stopped.
Thanks, Astik.